Long before Christianity, humans marked the winter solstice, the year's shortest day, with elaborate celebrations. Newgrange, an Irish tomb older than the Egyptian pyramids, built 3300 BC, was precisely aligned so that on December 21st, sunlight streams through a small opening to illuminate the inner chamber for exactly 17 magical minutes. Ancient peoples believed the sun was dying and needed help being reborn. Roman Saturnalia was the festival that most directly shaped Christmas. Running from December 17th to 23rd, it was absolute chaos in the best way. Romans abandoned their togas for colourful party clothes, gambling became legal, and here's the wild part: slaves were served dinner by their masters. A king of Saturnalia was elected, often a slave or criminal, who could order anyone to do embarrassing things, dance naked, shout insults, chase each other through the streets. The poet Catullus called it the best of days. People exchanged sigillaria, small figurines, and wax candles symbolising the return of light. Houses were decorated with evergreen wreaths, and yes, there was naked singing in the streets, the ancient version of Christmas caroling. Meanwhile, in Scandinavia, Norse peoples celebrated Yule with their own traditions. Here's where Santa Claus mythology actually begins. Odin, the grey-bearded Norse god, rode his 8-legged horse Sleipnir through winter skies during Yule. Children would leave boots by the hearth filled with hay for Sleipnir, and Odin would leave gifts in return. Sound familiar? But why December 25th, you ask? The answer might surprise you. Christians didn't celebrate Christmas for the first 300 years of the religion's existence. And that's the first thing that confuses people, because the word Christmas sounds like it must be an original Christian holiday. The name actually comes from Christ's Mass, meaning a special church service, a Mass, held in honour of Christ. Over time, Christ's Mass got shortened into Christmas. So the name is Christian, but the holiday itself took centuries to form. Early Christians simply did not celebrate Jesus' birthday. Some church leaders openly criticised birthday celebrations altogether. One early theologian, Origen of Alexandria, mocked them as pagan customs. He pointed out something interesting. In the Bible, the only birthday celebrations ever mentioned belong to Pharaoh and King Herod, and both stories end with someone being executed, not exactly a holy tradition. So for early Christians, birthdays weren't something to honour. What mattered was Jesus' death and resurrection, not the day he was born. But when does Christmas finally appear? The earliest recorded Christmas celebration on December 25th shows up in Rome in 336 CE, more than 3 centuries after Jesus' lifetime. This is where most people hear the common claim: Christians stole December 25th from a pagan sun festival. But history isn't that simple. The lesser-known explanation: Christians calculated the date. There's an older idea called the calculation hypothesis, and it comes from Christian theology. Early Christians believed Jesus was crucified on March 25th. That same date was also believed to be the Annunciation, the day the angel Gabriel told Mary she would conceive Jesus. Ancient Jewish and Christian tradition held that great prophets died on the same date they were conceived. So if Jesus was conceived on March 25th, adding 9 months leads straight to December 25th. The Bible says shepherds were watching their flocks at night when Jesus was born. That detail matters because shepherds didn't stay out overnight during the cold, rainy winter in Judea. Because of this, many scholars believe Jesus was likely born in spring or fall, not December. The truth is, the exact date of Jesus' birth is completely unknown. Here's an irony that deserves its own moment. In 1647, England actually banned Christmas. The Puritan government believed Christmas wasn't biblical. December 25th wasn't mentioned in the Bible. Many traditions came from pagan customs, and the holiday had turned into drunken chaos instead of worship. The ban spread to America too. In 1659, the Massachusetts Bay Colony made celebrating Christmas illegal. Anyone caught was fined. The ban lasted over 20 years. Christmas didn't become a US federal holiday until 1870. Now let's talk about the terrifying side of Christmas tradition. While modern Christmas features Jolly Santa, medieval and traditional Christmas included genuinely frightening figures designed to terrorise children into behaving. Krampus, the half-goat, half-demon of Alpine folklore, appears on December 5th alongside St. Nicholas. While the saint rewards good children, Krampus beats naughty ones with birch rods, stuffs them in a sack and drags them to the underworld, or simply eats them. Victorian-era Krampus greeting cards showed the demon proposing marriage to women and whipping tiny men. Iceland's Jólakötturinn, Yule Cat, is a giant black cat that devours lazy children who didn't receive new clothes before Christmas, a terrifying motivation for finishing textile work. Iceland also has 13 mischievous Yule lads, including window peeper and sausage swiper, who leave rotting potatoes for bad children. The German Belsnickel would drag bad children from their beds and force them to dance. If they didn't impress him, they'd never get to go home. France has Père Fouettard, Father Whipper, and Alpine regions feature Frau Perchta, who would slit open the bellies of those who hadn't finished their work. Even wassailing had a dark side. The carol "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" contains what's essentially a threat. Now bring us some figgy pudding. We won't go until we get some. By the early 1800s, Christmas had largely faded, associated with peasant revels and disconnected from urban life. Then the Victorians transformed it into something recognisable today. Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol in just 6 weeks in 1843, desperate for money with a pregnant wife and 4 children. It sold out its first print run of 6,000 copies by Christmas Eve. The novella made charitable giving and family togetherness central to Christmas, created Scrooge as a word for miser, and proved Christmas could work in cities. One American businessman closed his factory and sent every employee a turkey after attending a Dickens reading. The Christmas tree had existed in Germany since at least 1570, but an 1848 illustration showing Queen Victoria and Prince Albert around a decorated tree made them aspirational for middle-class families. When the image was republished in America, the tradition spread rapidly. The first Christmas card came in 1843, commissioned because the creator was too busy to write personal letters. It initially flopped and caused controversy because it showed children drinking wine. Original cards now sell for £22,000 at auction. Santa Claus evolved through a remarkable chain of transformation. St. Nicholas of Myra was a bishop known for secret gift-giving. Dutch settlers brought their Sinterklaas traditions to New Amsterdam, where the name evolved Sint Nicholas to Sinterklaas to Santa Claus. What makes Christmas remarkable is that those origins were never fully suppressed because they resonated with something humans needed: light in the darkness, generosity in scarcity, and celebration when the days are shortest. Whether you see that as pagan, Christian, or simply human, Christmas endures because it answers the same question ancient peoples asked at Newgrange 5,000 years ago. Will the light return? It always does. Merry Christmas everyone, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.